Well, perhaps I should start from my own experience. Before becoming an academic, I worked for 13 years for the International Committee of the Red Cross in armed conflicts, and I'm convinced that a main reason for armed conflicts is, especially internal armed conflicts, is discrimination. That people feel that they are not treated the same way than other people. And at least in those conflicts I worked, what shocked people is not so much that they have not enough to eat, but that others are treated much better by the government, by the international society, that they get land and those who start up an insurgency don't get land or don't have the same access to education and so on. Now, from a more theoretical level, I would say the non-discrimination principle is a value as such because it's a profound affront to human dignity to be discriminated, independently of whether any substantive human rights is violated. But in addition, fortunately, I would say, nowhere in the world are human rights of everyone violated. So every human rights violation is also an issue of discrimination. Nowhere everyone is hungry. Nowhere everyone is tortured. Nowhere everyone is deprived of shelter. And necessarily this is always based on discriminatory criteria which are an additional humiliation. In addition, I would say, as a lawyer, the advantage of discrimination, it is the aspect of all human rights violations which are most easily justiciable, can be brought before court, even for some rights like right to food or right to housing, where the very substance presupposes social policies, presupposes budgets by the state and so on. But the reality is, in no country of the world, everyone is deprived of shelter, and this issue that this person gets shelter, this person doesn't get, or work, or whatever, is very often based on discrimination, and this can be checked in legal procedures. And indeed, also in the international level, this is often, in many cases, it's at least one aspect of a human rights right. Perhaps it's also because I'm a teacher that I think training and education are a very important thing. Quite early to draw the attention of people, of young people who have, unfortunately, at least in my experience with my own children, I must say, children have a certain tendency to discrimination towards people who are different. And so it's an issue of education. And through education to draw the attention of the humiliating effect and also the effect of making that in a community not everyone can contribute as much as he or she could if some people are discriminated against. So everyone is better off if there is no discrimination. But obviously then there is an issue of instituting sufficient legal procedures and institutions where people can, for instance, complain about discrimination. And this is not only in courts. I think national human rights commissions or human rights institutions can also have a very important role, that people can simply complain of discrimination. For instance, where I taught before, in Quebec, there is a provincial human rights commission which has judicial functions only concerning discrimination, but which has been able to bring much forward the respect of human rights in Quebec.